Hello! I think it's working. Welcome to the stream, everyone. I'm gonna just check my doors locked. That was pretty unprofessional. We are back. Hello and welcome to the stream, everyone. Hope you've had a lovely Christmas. Hope you've had a lovely New Year. Welcome to the New Year. Welcome to the new streams. Nothing has changed. We are here, and it's very exciting because we're talking about Doctor Who again. This is the first time I've ever talked about the Christmas special, Church on Ruby Road. First time we talked about Shooty's first full episode. I've been a bit absent over Christmas because I've not been at my computer or anything like that. I've had a bit of a nice Christmas break, get back into the stream of things. And last week I had the option to stream, but I thought I'll wait. I'll big it up a little bit. I'll kind of put a bit more time into it. So we have got a very, very exciting stream for you all today. But before we talk about that, let's say hello to everyone who's just joining right now. Luke O'Brien, welcome. Cybernova DW, Gary Donnelly, the Underhenge, Dr. Master, the Face of Joe. Yeah, that's that so far. Welcome to the stream. How are you all doing on this lovely Tuesday evening? Yeah, if you're new here, obviously, the Who Bulletin is a live stream that we do every single week on this channel from now onwards for the foreseeable future, and it'll be every Tuesday, 7 o'clock. So yeah, welcome, 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 Doctor Who's magical entertainment. Welcome to the chat. Tomato Terrace, and we have a little bit of a tradition on here for those who are new. Adam Hassel, welcome, welcome. The little bit of a tradition is we do tend to have a little bit of a snack as we start these streams because it's obviously a very professional show. Pork pies are a bit of a tradition on this show. This is what we eat as a little bit of a snack to start off. Sometimes I don't manage it, but today I thought, well, it's the first one back, first pot pie of the year. Let's enjoy it together. You know it's a George Sheard stream when there's a pot pie in there. Come on. Tell me, everyone, how was your Christmas? How was your New Year? Hope you had a lovely time. So yeah, that's the thing. Hope you had a nice time. Hope you enjoyed Christmas. Hope you filled yourselves up on lots of turkey. Ricky Gervais hates pork pies. Good. I fucking hate Ricky Gervais, so I'm fucking happy with that. Cheese and pickle pork pies. No, you can't fucking add loads of stuff into a pork pie and it still tastes nice, man. The whole point of a pork pie is I mean, this has got stuff in it. This is a barbecue pork pie from Co-op's own. Co-op pork pies are the best. Other pork pies are available, they're just not as good. Unless we're talking about the cranberry pork pies around Christmas, which I have sorely missed. I had a couple of Greggs sausage rolls today. Good for you, Cybernova, and I'm incredibly jealous with that. I fucking love Greggs sausage rolls, they are the best, and I'm incredibly jealous. I wonder if like pork and cheese and pickle pies, which I just think is a lot of things in a pork pie. Oh, who knows? That's spick and pork and only in my pies, please. I agree. I'm with you. I design my own Sonic the Hedgehog 2024 calendar. That is interesting. That's good. Productive. That's what I like to see. I like to try and be productive. I've been spending the holiday period doing a lot of different things. When I'm not live streaming, I'm currently planning. I'm writing. I'm writing at the minute. I'm writing scripts galore at the minute. I'm very much in a bit of a writing mood. So hopefully you're going to be able to develop some stuff this year. You will see at least one short film from me this year, which will be exciting. I just fucking recognised the account. I genuinely thought for a second I had a Ricky Gervais fan in here, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what is the chance of that? Welcome, mic check. Let's see, here's one for you. Square's chocolate bars, man. I'm not a big vegan sausage roll fan. I don't think they're very good, if I'm being completely honest. But, you know, they sometimes go hard. But no, I prefer a normal sausage roll. Pork sausage roll. I'm a vegetarian. Am I missing out? A little bit. If you're vegetarian by choice, then yeah, you're missing out. If you're vegetarian by just other circumstances, then no, you're alright. You've got equivalents, it's alright. Don't worry about it. You're fine. You're good, even. Do I like mini eggs? Fuck yeah, I do. Come on, who doesn't like mini eggs? Prefer cream eggs, though. They're good. They're banging. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. We got fucking Mango Loco Monster again today. It's a very traditional stream over on here, which is nice. Something I want to show off. George wants to show off something. We need a little jingle for that. George wants to show off something. George wants to show off something. George wants to show off something. Here he is to show off something. TARDIS. I put this on Twitter yesterday, so people might have already seen this. But look, I did a thing. Put a fucking interior card in it. Look at that, pure talent and skill right there it takes to put a bit of fucking printed paper in there. But look! Now it looks modern and up to date and I can put it on display somewhere. Maybe at work, maybe at home. Who knows? Who knows? The problem at work now is I'm now known as the Doctor Who person. People just kind of come up to me at work and are like, oh, I watched the new Doctor Who episode, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, thanks. Is there any chocolate you hate? Fucking like Hershey's chocolate. Like any American like chocolate can just like do one as far as I'm concerned. Like American chocolate's like the worst. Just like genuinely awful, I think. What else we're looking at? What about just eggs? I do like eggs. I do like eggs. White chocolate cream eggs are so good. Yeah. Fire, yeah. White chocolate cream eggs are the fucking best. They sweep any day of the week. They're much better than the standard cream eggs. We'll take that. Biggest disappointment in primary school was on Fish Finger Friday, thinking your parent put down for fish fingers, but you got vile vegetable fingers, chunks of veg in a breadcrumb covered stick. Damn. That's rough, mind. Jesus, man. I'd never recover from that sort of trauma. That's horrendous. Fish Finger Friday? I want a Fish Finger Friday now, age 23, you know, that's what I want. Yeah, the one on this TARDIS model is now ridiculously expensive. I'm surprised it didn't do, like, people didn't buy it at the time. I guess it's just, like, circumstance or whatever. But this came out, like, right after Series 12, which was, like, sort of more than halfway through Jodie's era at that point. So I'm kind of surprised that people didn't pick it up. When it came out, but it's a good one. It's a good one. It's still got the batteries in this one as well. Look. That's quite enough of that. But it's a cool one. It's not accurate, which a bit kind of pisses me off. So I kind of would hope that they would redo it if they brought one out for Shooty and David and stuff, and just kind of reworked the sizing a little bit, because they just kind of used the classic box. That being said, though, it does still look good, and from certain angles, it does kind of match the same sort of vibe or whatever, but again, expecting character options to do something correct is a fucking big ask. I really enjoyed the Christmas special. Welcome to the stream, Time Lord 2023. Lovely to have you here. I enjoyed the Christmas special. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. The sort of vegetable fish finger stuff is part of the scourge of Jamie Oliver on school meals. Everything in school dinners tastes like shit now. Former teacher. Former teacher. I love the specification. Well, thanks for that literacy. Welcome to the stream. That's really funny. And I could possibly agree. Probably, I can't even speak today. I quite like my school dinners when I was in school, but I don't know whether it's just a thing of the time where it's like it's been a long time since I was in that, but then I always thought that I was older than the sort of Jamie Oliver kind of demographic. Sorry, young. No, I don't know what I think, to be honest. No, I thought I was younger. I thought that kind of happened whilst I was in school, but maybe it didn't. Because I always remember having some pretty good stuff with like sausage and chips, and not sausage and chips, but like sausage and mash. We used to have like fucking like Sunday dinner kind of stuff with like Yorkshire puddings, gravy. But then I did go to a school in Newcastle, so that's just chances probably not following the government guidelines that closely. Gateshead Council was doing bits. You know those? Do you remember those fucking what do you call it? They had these like cakes, like sponge cakes, and they had like this thin like icing on top, and then like little things. There was that, and there was something else. Oh, the cream bun things, where it's just like a bun, like a fucking hot dog bun with just some like icing cream on top or whatever. They were fire. It's great that my entire memories of primary school dinners consist of the desserts, doesn't it? It says a lot. Geordie's TARDIS toy feels so much weaker compared to the other boxes. The problem with it is, as I've said, it's not accurate. Geordie's TARDIS is a very unique box, and if you look at them like side by side, it's smaller than the newer series ones, but it's not thin. It's still like got that sort of chunky look. Whereas this uses the exact same mold as the classic box. Like until you get to the roof, this is the same box as like all of the classic Doctor Who releases. Which is annoying because you sort of would want them to do their own original, but it makes sense that they wouldn't kind of invest in that because they've used the same box mould for Eccleston, Tennant, Smith and Capaldi. So it's great that we got a new one, like a new sort of look for Jodie's box that kind of fits her stature and height and everything, because that's how they changed the box in real life. They changed it so it would fit like Jodie's height. But still, like, I would kind of like to see a new version of it. It's probably the weakest, not one of the weakest for me. I do quite like the box, and I think the paint job is really good. I think like there's some B&M boxes which are really like just really poor quality, whereas that actually I think does stand up because it was like an official release. I don't think it was in B&M anyway. I can't remember that. Don't remember them ever doing like an electronic version in B&M. You're not being paid enough to afford Fish Finger Friday in your high-profile influencer position. I mean, yeah, I could buy myself fish fingers, but it's not as much of a surprise, you know. It's not the same, man. It's not the same. I haven't had the chance to really get the B&M TARDISes, but they always seem to sell out for me. Yeah, I've kind of given in with Doctor Who figures at the minute. Like, I just kind of want some good stuff and not the same stuff that like character keeps recycling. Now, I know there's like valid reasons for that, budget and this and that, and I'm not like complaining that we haven't got something like sooner, but I do find it a little bit disappointing, and I'm kind of just sick of, like, I'm not going to buy another fucking 4th Doctor era set. Like, I'm sick of seeing more Tom Baker head sculpts and stuff. Like, you know, I love the old TARDISes and there's some good ideas in there, but I'm kind of more keen to see like new series stuff come to B&M. I'm glad we're starting to get like newer Daleks and stuff. That's really exciting. But I just couldn't help but feel it's like, I don't know what I want out of character. Like if I'm gonna buy, I don't really display Doctor Who toys anymore. So for me, if I'm gonna buy Doctor Who toys, it needs to be like good quality. So it needs to be like a Doctor, a Master, something really exclusive that I don't want to miss out on, or like a TARDIS that's solid, you know. The B&M TARDISes are great, and they were fantastic. I remember when they started, it was like a miracle. It's like you had to try and run out of your way to find them. I was looking in B&M after B&M after B&M just to find these things, and they were great. But the prices have all gone up, which is understandable, but also the quality's just kind of stayed the same, and it's just kind of lingered, and I don't really like the sort of cheap plasticky feel of those TARDISes. God, yeah, a B&M Capaldi era release would be great. But I just think that with the B&M license, it's a shame they haven't focused more on those eras that didn't get as much figures. We've got loads of classic stuff now. I'd love to see some new Who stuff. But, you know, school dinners have to have no salt, no oil, no sugar, no flavour. I've never seen kids turn their noses up at pizza before. Yep, that makes sense, to be honest. Formatation implies to eat quick because of vegetable fingers. Yeah, I would, to be fair. I used to have cheese wraps, literally a plain tortilla with a handful of cheese in it. Fair enough. It has to fit Tennant's and Shizzy's height. Yeah, it does, and it does anyway. It's absolutely fine. The TARDIS box is gorgeous. We've already established that. I think because now it's a long-running one, like as a design, it needs to be like we sort of need to make a new toy for it. I think just to make it sort of more accurate. Being able to tell the difference between different functionally identical police boxes is why Doctor Who fans are just wrong. I think this is always something that's kind of thrown around, which I think is quite a funny thing. It's like, well, they all look the same. The toys probably look more the same than the boxes do, but like if you look at the boxes, they are somewhat different. Yeah, okay, it's a TARDIS, but like even just like Geordie's is probably the more different one of the new era because of like the signage being slightly different. Like the signage is a lot smaller. The lamp's different, the colouring's different. You've got the white sort of borders on the window, the black signage on there. It's all like in little subtleties usually, but with Geordie's box there was actually like a fully new design to fit the height of that actress. But if you look on the actual box, I keep picking it up and putting it back down again. I should probably just leave it on my desk. If you look on the actual like Geordie box, like the windows and everything are square, like not perfectly square, but like somewhat perfectly square. Whereas on here, it's all rectangular. Like it's not perfectly square. It's quite far off being completely square, which is fine. But it does it does have this illusion of the box. When you look at it from the front, it doesn't look anything like Geordie's TARDIS, but from the side, it's starting to get there. Like you start with the more you bend it, the more you can kind of picture it, which is okay. But that's just a sort of note for displaying it, I suppose. If you're bothered about accuracy and all that sort of thing. All the new stuff and characters has been limited editions, so I hope that's not the case for everything else to come. They did release a Capaldi set a few years ago for B&M. This is showing. I feel like this is yesterday, but then it's like this is so many years ago that it just sounds daft. But there was a B&M set released of Series 10. There was a figure set which had Missy, Capaldi, and Bill in it, which is a really good set actually to get all three of those figures. But yeah. Are you on Twitch after? Yes. So after today's stream, like per usual, I will be I'll be going live playing FIFA today, FIFA 23. I've been getting more into it. I know it's not the newest version of FIFA, but it's a lot of fun to piss about and play it and just kind of rage at it every now and then. So yeah, feel free to join us over on Twitch. As soon as this live stream ends at about 8 o'clock, we're going to be heading over to Twitch to play FIFA 23 and kind of rage at some football for a bit. And yeah, whatever else we fancy really. I'm really enjoying getting back into Twitch, so yeah, come and watch me play some video games, chat about Doctor Who over there if you want, or just get involved generally. It's up to you. But it's a lot of fun, so yeah. I'm the same, but it does kind of make us all wrong. You don't understand. The windows are more rectangular. Yeah, you are right. Yeah, it is a bit mad, but it's sort of like I think people just kind of assume if they don't look at it, like yeah, okay, they're exactly the same. But if you show them a picture of like 2 or 3 of them, then it's come on, it's they are different subtly, yes, but it's. I think it's more I think it's more acceptable with the whole TARDIS debate thing of them all looking different to like the people who analyse like Star Wars ships. I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I know some ship names, but then looking at like, the variations of like paint jobs and stuff, that's just like for me, I can't get my head around that at all. But yeah, it's fun. 2018 or 19 was the Series 10 set. So I would have been 17 or 18 years old, and I'm 23 this year. That is very scary. Shit. Yeah, I'm going to have to get a Capaldi figure. See, I don't even know what they go for nowadays. That's the confusing thing. I was supposed to have music in the background that I completely forgot as well. So there you go. There's the music. I'm not sure what figures go for nowadays. I do love the Doctor Who figure range, don't get me wrong. I'm at a point though where, depending on how this year goes, I'll be absolutely pushing for like a new licensee for the Doctor Who figures. I think character are great, but they do struggle on budget. I feel like, you look at like Hasbro with like Star Wars. Now I know it's a completely different thing, but the Star Wars like Black Series figures, how many like of those have we got? We've got to the point where they've like ran out of figures to do, so that what they're starting to do is they're starting to put figures out that are like concept art pieces and stuff, like stuff from old concept arts, stuff that's not canon, and you put them out for a good price. They are more expensive, admittedly, and I wouldn't want that same treatment to Doctor Who exactly, but Christ, they look really, really good. Like the figures actually look great. They don't look like how Doctor Who figures look, which is okay, but not perfect. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's just, it's something to keep an eye on. The topic of debate will always come up, and like character was a massive name for toys back then, and it still is now to an extent, but not to the same extent. And I kind of feel like maybe as Doctor Who grows and grows with Disney, new deals might be like thrown up. I don't know what the deal is with it though. It feels very strange that there's been no acknowledgement of any like new figures. We got obviously the Sonic Screwdriver release, but I kind of find it weird how like Jodie regenerated into David Tennant, and they released a figure of the 14th Doctor a month later, or a couple months later, and then Ncuti's had his whole like first new full episode, and we've had no news of a figure quite yet, which is fine, but just pointing it out. And then Tennant's 14th Doctor Sonic got revealed in like a little reveal trailer, and then a few days later, maybe a week later, they actually announced and released the Sonic Screwdriver toy, like the one that you could use and piss about with and stuff from the character website, the exclusive one and the standard release one. Now Ncuti's Sonic has that Sonic was released quite a while before the first episode featuring it even came out, and now we've got Ncuti's Sonic, which has been revealed, has been in a full episode, and there's nothing, no news, no release, anything like that. Fair enough if it was like announced to be coming out later this year, fair enough, but it's nothing, which is strange to me. The other thing though, I think to consider on the back of that is we'll probably get stuff towards the beginning of season 1 when that starts in May. So around May I'm hoping to get some figures come out, and hoping to get like some Sonic Screwdriver releases and all that sort of lovely stuff. You'd expect that in a way, wouldn't you? You don't want shite, and I'm hoping we'll get some good stuff. You never know, but it's a fingers crossed thing for me, because if we don't, then it's like, okay, maybe they need to look at another license. Not that it's up to the fans or anything, but I don't know. And personally, I'm not going out of my way to like buy a 4th Doctor figure set. I'm just not. Have you watched Saltburn yet? I haven't watched Saltburn yet. Hello, the one Foxy. Welcome to the stream. John Parashy, welcome to the stream. Never been able to snag any Doctor Who figures or any other stuff. Yeah, I mean, they can be hard to come by. They used to be everywhere back in the day, and nowadays it's just really difficult to come by. I do miss the deals we had with other shops. I miss the deals that Doctor Who had with other shops like Toys R Us, Forbidden Planet. B&M just don't give a shit, really, by the seams of it. Like, they're not putting that much money into it, considering it's a range that sells out relatively quickly. But I think that'll be to do with lockdown as well, catching up with us and stuff. But I don't know. It's like I can't imagine B&M turning around and being like, yeah, we want figures from the 70s era. Yeah, but the thing is, you have to look at it at different times and eras and brandings and stuff. I'm sure Russell is working at that, but I think the big brand boost is going to be coming when Ncuti starts his first series in May. That'll be the big boost. If we don't get figures around then, I don't know what the crack is, really. My worry is more, and I know we'll get it eventually, but soundtracks as well. I kind of want the 60th soundtracks to come out. It's a big ask, considering we still haven't got a Series 10 soundtrack, but the time's gone for the Series 10 soundtrack. I think the time's kind of passed on for that one. So I can kind of completely understand why that's being pushed back now, because it's not like just happened. But the 60th soundtrack, I would have thought we'd have some news on by now, but that's fine. It's just the two things that I'm very like excited about that that are coming out soon, that could potentially be coming out but probably not, would be figures, would be soundtracks. So yeah, I don't know, the Goblin Sun thing's great. I'm glad they released it though, because it does make sense. I am going to blow my nose in a minute. I need to, because I'm like sniffling a little bit. That's alright though. We move. I don't know why not. Yeah, that's a good idea. I might go and blow my nose now, actually. Give it a little break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Church on Ruby Road, because I've not talked about it yet. I'm excited to talk about it. So, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Okay, we're going to be talking about the church on Ruby Road now. I will just kind of round off with the whole figures thing because people are still asking questions about it. Seems like stuff like soundtracks, figures, school bags, etc. would need to be there for the whole Hooniverse thing to work. I agree. The Hooniverse is kind of about the whole collection of having everything in one place and kind of celebrating the whole of the Doctor Who universe and doing spin-offs and stuff like that. But I think there is a merchandising point of view from it as well. We do need more Doctor Who merchandise. I want to go into it, like, how many years has it been since we've walked into like an Asda in the UK and gone into the cakes aisle and there'd been a cake with a TARDIS on it and David Tennant standing in the door, or the current Doctor standing in the door. And the last time that happened was with Matt Smith. I don't think we've had that since Capaldi, and it's really sad. And I really want that back. I want that sort of like iconography everywhere. Like, I want to see it, but it's just not happening. So yeah, let's talk about the church on Ruby Road. What did you all think? Give me all your hot takes. Personally, this will probably be instead of like doing a formal review, because I just don't really want to do it. Once the time's passed, it's sort of difficult to sit down and do a video about something. So yeah, that's basically that. But for me, I absolutely loved the episode. I wasn't so keen on it first time round. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good, but there's something off about it for me. And then I rewatched it, and I was like, yeah, it's really good. I think I have my criticisms of it in certain areas. I think for me, the direction could have been slightly better. And that's me being very nitpicky and critical. Mark Tonderay did a great job with Rosa, and I think that episode and his style lent themselves very well together. Rosa was a very human, kind of personal, character-based thing, and I think that was a lot more down-to-earth and grounded, and I think his very close and small, subtle camera work works really well. And I wouldn't usually point the finger at the director for the camera work, but it's been seen in the behind-the-scenes that Mark Tonderay did jump on board and basically handle the camera a lot of the time as well, so I do have that to sort of point out at some point. But with this, it's a sort of goblins in a pirate ship and, you know, time travel and all that sort of thing. There's some shots where I'm like, just fucking take 2 steps back and kind of widen up the frame a little bit so we can see what's going on. When they're doing the song on the goblin ship, and you can go and watch this on YouTube, I'm not going to like show a clip here or anything. When Shooty sings his first line of the goblin song thing, he's like, oh, the Goblin King, yes, the Goblin King, that bit. If you watch that, sort of not frame by frame, but slowly, you'll see the camera frame is so close on Shooty that any movement that he has, he goes out of frame. At the beginning, he goes too high out of the frame, and the camera remains here, so you can only see from like the nose down. And then, there's a shot that's literally of his chest, like from the neck down, when he's singing, and then he moves down and he's doing like actions and stuff, and he's like out the bottom, so like the camera's like there, he's like out the bottom half of his face is out the frame, and he's singing and like dancing and like acting and stuff, and like all of that is being lost because the camera angle is too tight on him, and that is kind of annoying. Like, that's not all the way through, but there's some stuff where I'm like, God, and then you just compare it sometimes. It's like, I don't think it's bad by any means. I think the episode is great, don't get me wrong. The writing, the performances, everything in that respect, the CGI, the practical effects, the music, almost everything I really, really enjoyed. I just feel like there was something a bit missing with the visuals. The shot where Ruby enters the TARDIS and then comes out and then runs around the TARDIS, you've got this sort of like vaguely kind of motiony static shot of the bird's eye view of the TARDIS, which doesn't... It's good, don't get me wrong, but then you compare to like 2012 Christmas Day, you know, 11 years ago we had Clara running around the TARDIS, and how visually stunning was that shot of Clara running around the TARDIS on the cloud, the light, the colouring, everything was so like iconic and memorable about that scene, whereas I feel like Ruby running around the TARDIS and then going in to the TARDIS and so it didn't feel to me as like immediately iconic, and that's nothing to do with the performance or the writing or anything like that. It's all to do with visuals. It's all to do with visuals and what they had to work with, and the colour felt a bit flat for me, like it felt quite just like an average kind of day, which I guess is fair enough. We always had that back in the beginning of Russell T Davies' era, and that's something I love, is the sort of averageness of it. Stephen Moffat went a bit more whimsical and fairy tale with his, so I wasn't expecting Ruby to like jump on a cloud or something and see this, but I was kind of thinking like, in another scenario maybe where the TARDIS would just look in better lighting for that sort of reveal would have been really nice, because it felt very static and very sort of overcast typical overcast day, really, which is fine, don't get me wrong, but that was the only sort of big criticism, really, was the direction and camera work for me. So that was probably my only big criticism. Ncuti was incredible. I absolutely love him as the Doctor already. Completely sold on him. He's probably one of the most original Doctors to date, probably since Chris Eccleston, who's come in and it's like he feels completely like his own version of the Doctor. Every Doctor is their own version of the Doctor, but they take inspiration from other parts, and I think that's important. But with Ncuti, I'm like, this is just completely new. I don't see any elements of other Doctors in this, really. So I really like that immediately. It's very different, very refreshing. And Ruby's great as well. Ruby Sunday is a great character so far. Millie Gibson's doing a class job with it. There's a lot of lines and character in there that kind of bring a lot out of her in this episode, and I think, again, it's a testament to Russell's writing, really, that it really shines as much as it does. And I think, again, the performances are held up by the writing, and the writing is held up by the performances, and I think that's something that I used to love with Russell's era of Doctor Who anyway, and I'm glad to see that kind of showing its face here. The incidental characters, the side characters, like Ruby's family, for example, mother and grandmother, both of them very like fleshed out, you know. I feel like I know these characters, which is really cool. And then obviously Mrs. Flood and other stuff, but I feel like you look at like this episode and what it does, and you feel the character development with like Ruby and her group of friends, Ruby and her home life. I just loved it. It was very different, but also very familiar, and I think that's exactly what this needed to be. I'm more excited for how the series is going to come out, like how that's going to come together, how we're going to see story arcs set up and stuff like that. I kind of feel like it was like a Rose almost, and we want to see more immediately, but haven't and can't yet. So yeah, no, it's very exciting. It's cool to have like a companion introduction on a Christmas episode as well. I don't know how many times that's happened. Probably the Snowmen, but I don't even know if I'd count that. I don't know. Who else? Has anyone else been introduced on Christmas? Like Christmas and then continued from there, not like as a one-off. Because I know Donna obviously appeared in Christmas. But like, there's just something really magical about it. And it was really exciting. I'm trying to think in terms of anything else. The Goblin stuff was great, and I actually really liked the song. There is a little bit of it which was cringe. Like, don't get me wrong, there's like a little bit of it when I'm sat with my family, and it's like, it's very polished. You know what I mean? And the Goblin song, as I said originally, like way back when, gave me the vibe of like a sort of like 2016, 2017, like Five Nights at Freddy's YouTube song, where it's like really good vocal work technically, but it feels so overproduced that it's like kind of, I don't know, a bit cringe. And the lyrics are like fine, but nothing like overly special. And obviously it's supposed to be because they're goblins. But I felt like if it was a bit more labyrinth with it, it would have been really like a lot easier to get into as a musical number. It was very like more musical theatre than it was like something that kind of fit the story, if that makes sense. Which is absolutely fine. Hey, I love musical theatre, but I think it could have done with something a little bit different for me personally. But I still love the song. The song is really catchy, and Ncuti and Millie singing as part of the song as well was absolutely great. Loved that. I think the practical effects, the mix of practical and CGI effects on the goblins and the Goblin King were really, really well done. But you're right, yeah, the vocals are too good, too polished. That's exactly what I was kind of going for with that, where it's like, it's really good in a sense, but yeah. What was I trying to say? Yeah, if the goblins, you know, they're goblins, they're small, they've got different vocals to humans in the same way that they're like, they speak differently. They speak like this and they talk like this. Like when they were talking, they had like a sort of style of talking. So why wouldn't they sing in that sort of way as well? Like why would the singing be like a human vocalist singing? You know what I mean? It's like little things like that would have felt more magical and whimsical if they'd done it like a sort of goblin singing it. Again, use Labyrinth as an example. If you've never seen the film Labyrinth, it is about goblins and the Goblin King kidnapping babies. So it's very similar in that respect, but there is a song called Magic Dance, which the Goblin King is played by David Bowie, so obviously his parts are all very well polished, but he's a human character in that point. It's called the Goblin King, but he's a humanoid kind of character. But the other goblins sound whimsical and magical, and even though they sing, it sounds like, yeah, it sounds appropriate to the film and it works. If they all had like perfect human singing voices, like they're like a pop star or something, it wouldn't work as well. And I think that's the sort of misjudgment here. But other than that, though, the song is catchy and it does get stuck in your head, and it's something that I'm sure we'll come back to and go, that's really just fun and daft. Not really something to like be too serious over, but it's fun, you know. Yeah, a lot of stuff I liked about it. I think I'm sort of getting into the rhythm of it more, and I'm kind of excited to see where they're going to take it. I still think they should do more with the TARDIS colours. I was a bit disappointed we went back to the sort of boring white colour again. I thought Sheard we're going to change that a little bit, so it's like orange and kind of moody. I know we're going to see more lights throughout the series, but I was kind of hoping we'd see that straight away, like a definitive change. But we went right back to the sort of white, which is fine. I can't say I was a massive fan of the episode. It was okay, but felt very rushed, and the goblins weren't very good. That's fair. Again, like I just say, like I don't think it's my absolute favourite of the specials this year. Wild Blue Yonder definitely tops that. I think for me, the running order is Wild Blue Yonder, The Giggle, Church on Ruby Road, and then Star Beast. I love all four of these episodes, but I think in terms of like lasting memory, I think Wild Blue Yonder's just incredible, and The Giggle feels like a proper 2008 Doctor Who story. Like, it feels very of that era, and it's very nostalgic, and it got that absolutely bang on for me. Yeah, the convo with Houdini is a convo I've had with women as a gay man. It's very Ruby goes, oh, okay. I get it, and follows the Doctor as a gay best friend rather than a romantic interest. Which I kind of picture that anyway, so I'm kind of hoping that's the case. But, yeah, no, that's very good. I don't even think necessarily it's about, like, giving the Doctor a prominent sexuality, but more in the case of, like, because the Doctor, to me, obviously should always have some sort of, in terms of sexuality, make it kind of ambiguous in a way where it's like he or she is in a sort of position of, like, you know, they're an almost immortal alien being who can change their face at any time. They're above that, you know. I see the Doctor, if anything, pansexual or asexual, you know. There's either of those two, where it's like the Doctor can, you know, flirt with a robot, or like a alien or something, like an emperor made of algae, it's talked about before. I'm sure we're going to get some sort of flirtatious banter between him and Jonathan Gross's character. At least that's what it looks like anyway. That sort of vibe will be kind of interesting to see going forward. But, you know, we never know, we'll see. But I like that filing, and I think it definitely works for those characters. I don't want to see a companion falling in love with the Doctor kind of vibe again. Yeah. They knew what they were doing, playing both the TARDIS noise and Spice Up Your Life during the New Year's fireworks. Yes, I agree. Joel! I don't have any thoughts on Wild Blue Yonder. It's a good episode, my friend. It's a good episode. Talking of Wild Blue Yonder, actually, I don't know if you... I mean, again, if you're not already following me on Twitter, feel free to do that, because I waffle there, usually. But there is an account which I think is basically posting recreations of the scores for these episodes, and I genuinely have to say it's some of my favourite stuff. The channel is called Hoovy Vortex. I'll put a link to their Wild Blue Yonder music arrangement in here. It is phenomenal. I came across this, and I've been listening, and I said this on Twitter anyway, I've been listening to the music ripped directly from the episodes, just like the kind of messy ones with some of the sound effects in the background, but the music from the actual episodes of the 60th, because they haven't been released yet. So when I came across this, I was sort of like, I'm always skeptical when I see sort of fan-made creations of recreations of scores, because I'm sort of like, it's not going to be 100%, and this isn't 100%. It does have its own flair, but the flair is really good and really comes across quite well. When I was listening to this score, I was genuinely just sat there like absolutely into it. Like I am kind of nitpicky and judgmental when it comes to like fan scores because I'm sort of like, okay, it's going to do the episode, but it's going to do its own thing and have all these big... But actually, it was so close to the episode, almost beat by beat, in terms of like certain tracks and certain parts of the episode, that I was just like, this is literally like the same as the one that I've been listening to, but cleaner and orchestraic and less muddy than the like one that I've ripped from the episode. So, absolute massive fan of it. Definitely go and check it out. I don't just promote stuff for no reason. You know, if I'm genuinely into it, then I'm telling you, like, this is good and it's worth like listening to. So go and give it a listen. Go and give them a subscription. And yeah, but I was talking about this on Twitter yesterday. Absolutely love it. It was really good, and there's the Star Beast one's really good as well. Not as long as the Wild Blue Yonder one, but still really, really good. Yeah. And something else I talked about on Twitter as well. If you're not following me on Twitter, by the way, the link is in the description and the chat. But something else we talked about yesterday as well is the ratings. So let's have a look at that while we can. Oh, that's good, George. Nice. That's great, mate. That's really class. That camera work is absolutely fantastic. That's phenomenal, mate. That's really, really good. Top tier, man. Top tier. Top tier. Fucking hell, man. That's a disgrace. So this is a little chart I put together yesterday. I made one of these years and years and years and years and years ago. But I thought I'd do another one here. I also realise it's half it's cut off on here, so I'm going to just kind of do it a little bit more like that. Here we go. Try to see if you can see anything in the background. You probably shouldn't be able to. Nah, you're good. So this is the sort of ratings chart. Of the current series. So how I worked this out was with basically you take the Christmas special and everything from every series, you add up all the totals and you divide it by the number of episodes. A classic mean average of basically every series of the show. It's probably one of the fairest ways to do it. Give or take. Obviously the Christmas specials probably do skew things a little bit, but it's not that different from the original chart which excluded them, so we're going to go with it. So the average of Series 1, for example, 7.95 million. The 50th is Time and Day of the Doctor. That's the 50th year. It's an average between two of those. And the specials, again, is an average between the next Doctor till the End of Time Part 2. Series 5 is, I think, just that whole series, because I think the Christmas Carol is included in Series 6, which you might think is daft, but then on Wikipedia, how it's framed is like that. And the Christmas special does usually release with its sort of counterpart after. So Series 7, for example, includes Dr. Widow in the Wardrobe and the Snowmen, but not like Time of the Doctor, for example. So the thing away from this is you can see an interesting sort of downward trend after Capaldi starts, and that's fine. You know, that's completely normal. Like, the thing to consider is, it's like, you can look at this and go, oh, the correlation here is actor, and when Capaldi started and then Jodie started, there's sort of like a gradual decline. And that's fair enough to point out. But I don't think it's necessarily true either. I think there are like ways and means of kind of processing this and kind of talking about it, and I think for one, it's the TV landscape has changed. A lot of people talk about that, but a lot of people do watch on more streaming nowadays. Doctor Who is a more worldwide brand, so these are only from the British screenings in the UK on iPlayer and Live. And before we had iPlayer, you could just watch it live and record it. So those stats would be coming in bigger because you wouldn't be watching it on backup. Now you can watch it on catch up. People sometimes just forget about it. I'll have a TV show on and then just never get around to watching it. But this should be the consolidated figures in total, so 7-day or 28-day, depending on when this was taken, but it's the figures that are on Wikipedia, it's the figures that are out there, it's the figures that are solid and concrete and locked in. But there's an interesting trend. I love the Series 11 one, kind of picks up. Like, The Woman Who Fell to Earth got a hell of a lot of viewership. I think there's a lot of talk around Jodie Whittaker being the first female Doctor, and it kind of came in with full force a little bit, and I think that was like the last massive episode the show's had, really, in terms of like standard UK viewership. Like, that was unheard of to get that amount of views. Like 10, 11 million I think that episode got, which is actually mad. The exciting thing is, though, to look and you can compare the centenary year to the 60th anniversary year. The 60th anniversary year, obviously it's an anniversary year, so you are expecting that, but you can see the difference between the centenary year and the 60th, despite them being very similar in terms of the overall design. The only difference with the centenary, of course, is that the 3 specials were split up over the year, and the 4 specials on the 60th were split up over the fact of about 2 months. If that, really. 1 month, really. I think exactly 1 month, yeah, because it was 25th of November to 25th of December, so it was exactly 1 month. So that's, again, something you can look at and go, yeah, that is what it is, but yeah, the viewership is different, and you can kind of see, and that's really great. The viewership on the Christmas special just gone, especially now the consolidated figures will come in, it's been really, really good. Jumped up from about 4.7 million overnight views, which is still good, but it jumped up from that to like 7.4 mil, which is again incredible, like a huge markup. So that's very exciting, and obviously we'll get figures from Disney as well. But also consider, again, different TV landscape. We've got SCP content. The thing about this as well is I remember Disney Plus released their stats for the Marvel shows, and they only got about 1 or 2 million each overall. Never mind 7 days, never mind whatever. Like, that was overall. I think that's really interesting. No, they don't tend to release figures for streams. I don't know if we ever will with Disney. But this is an interesting look anyway. Doctor Who's not dead, and viewership really genuinely means nothing. You know, the show can get to lows and highs and whatever, it doesn't actually matter. The TV landscape is changing, but getting this high of a viewership nowadays is really good. You've got shows like Inside Number 9, which are now on their 9th season, and they don't really tend to get more than 1 million per episode on like overnights, which is like mad. But like when it does, it's great, and that's cool, and it's amazing. And the show's kept like being brought back and brought back and brought back. Just because Doctor Who isn't hitting like the 8 or 9 million it used to back in the day per episode, it doesn't mean it's dead in the water. It's always got around about 7 million. That's always been like the sort of standard. The 11 millions only come from specials. You know, the specials year average being so high is because you had the Next Doctor, which was quite a big special, because obviously it's called The Next Doctor, and David Tennant had just announced that he was leaving. And then you had Planet of the Dead, or whatever, Waters of Mars, which was sort of like the preliminary story to David Tennant's final story, and it was very dramatic, so they bigged that up. And then the 2-parter, you got David Tennant regenerating, it was massive, massive news. So that got so many views. Most of those specials, I think, actually got over 10 million views in consolidated figures, which is massive. And then consider Voyage of the Damned as well, which also brings up Series 4's score a little bit, which probably would have been around the same as Series 2 and 3 at about 7.5 mil, but brings it up to 8.5 mil, because I think Voyage of the Damned got about 13 mil consolidated, which is absolutely mental. But yeah. But it doesn't mean anything. This is what I'm saying, is like, you can look at this and say whatever you want. You can make whatever judgment. You could technically look at this and go, oh, well, as you can see with trends, like, since Capaldi started, the popularity of Doctor Who has decreased. No, not necessarily. There's different ways of viewing things nowadays, and there's a different climate in TV. You know, it's the same way of comparing, like, you can't compare, like, Chris Eccleston's Doctor Who to, like, the 60s and 70s viewership, because there was only 4 channels back then. It's a different world we live in now. When you forget, in 2005 there wasn't stuff like YouTube. I mean, that had just launched. YouTube, like TikTok, social media was only just up and coming. Like, you only really compare, like, again, right, 2013, 2014, where social media began to become like a massive presence. It was recognised a lot more in the world, and as that happened, the popularity for shows like Doctor Who did decrease, and that's fine. But Doctor Who stayed afloat. It just needs to be a consistent brand. It's not a film franchise, and therefore has kind of lost its popularity. TV did die a bit of a death a few years ago, in some capacity, but it's coming back, I think, in some capacity as well. I'm excited to see where this goes, and I'm hoping Shooty's first series will do really well. I'm sure it will, given his popularity. As an actor anyway, I'm sure it'll do well, so we'll see. But again, the massive markup from Shooty's first episode from 4.7 to 7.4 mil is absolutely incredible, and it outdoes, I believe, the Giggle. I'm not sure if it outdoes, why am I saying that? I'm not sure if it outdoes Wild Blue Yonder as well, but let's have a look at the actual stats. Doctor Who serials. Yeah, the Star Beast is in at 7.6 mil, 7.414 mil for Blue Yonder, and 6.85 for the Giggle. Again, really good like retention there. And then 7.49 for the Church on Ruby Road. So in terms of like amount of consolidated viewership per episode, the Star Beast at the top. Narrowly behind is the Church on Ruby Road, then Wild Blue Yonder, then the Giggle. So that's really good. And again, we're bringing back the Doctor Who Christmas Day special stuff again, and that feels like good to see that sort of retention. But yeah, very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. I think that's pretty much that though. So yeah, we're basically kind of wrapping this up as a live stream, but you're all welcome to join me over on Twitch. So what we'll be doing every single Tuesday going forward, and also I'd love to hear your guys' ideas on stuff as well. If you've got like ideas on what you want to see from these live streams, the Who Bulletin, the kind of news you want me to cover, the kind of things you want me to do you want me to do sort of games, giveaways, anything more interactive, less interactive, have your say. I am genuinely interested. I know a lot of people say, oh, leave it in the comments and I'll have a read. But do leave it in the comments below. Do message me on Twitter. Do drop it on Twitter. I would absolutely be dead interested to see what people actually want to see out of this channel now. Given that I'm mostly doing live streams nowadays, I would be very, very interested. So yeah, if you have any ideas and stuff you want to see this year with the Who Bulletin, please do let me know. I have got a lot of exciting stuff planned this year. I might try and do a video at some point kind of covering all the stuff I've got kind of planned for this year, but, you know, we'll see. And, yeah, as beyond that, we do filming news we will cover. There's nothing really that new this week. I think there was like a new monster spotted or something, but we can talk about that next week since we've already talked about the Church on Ruby Road today and we've only got 5 minutes left. But we can save that for next week. But we will be streaming here on YouTube every single Tuesday evening at 7 PM UK time till 8 PM, and then immediately after we'll be going over to Twitch. So if you want to keep cracking on with Doctor Who stuff, obviously make sure you're here every Tuesday 7 PM for another episode of the Who Bulletin. If you want to suggest the kind of things, do hot takes people send, there's you read, I don't get that. But yeah, again, as I say, I'm always kind of willing to kind of do whatever people fancy on this. I took a step away from YouTube a little while ago, and like coming back to it has been really exciting and interesting. But like, I want to do stuff that you guys want to see. I don't want to keep boring you to death every week with the same old boring shit. So please do tell me what you kind of want to see from this channel, what you want to see from these live streams. I would be absolutely fascinated to know. But the standard is going to be, yeah, 7 PM every Tuesday here on YouTube. There will be a Twitch stream tonight. I was just about to get onto that. We're going to be going live on Twitch very shortly, and basically every Tuesday after we do this sort of thing, we head over to Twitch and do some streaming over there for a little bit as well. Play some video games and keep chatting. So if you've got any more Doctor Who questions, in fact, yeah, the Mrs. Flood question. Let's talk about Mrs. Flood on the Twitch stream. Twitch stream. Ask me about that in just a bit. We'll keep talking about it over on Twitch. The link is in the chat. It's in the description below, so there's no excuse. Check out the link, drop me a follow, and as soon as this live stream finishes, we'll be going over to there. Whozoomer, invite 10 followers a week for a chat. I would be dead interested, but I have actually got a Discord server, which we've kind of considered doing this sort of thing before, chatting to people. I don't know if I'd live stream stuff with other people, because people could come in and just scream like a slur or something, and I'd kind of rather that not happen. So yeah, let me put yeah. Here's a Discord link as well. There you go. We have a little Discord server that we do post stuff in, and it does tell you when we're going live, and also opportunities to chat and all that sort of stuff. So do feel free to head over there. And yeah, that's pretty much that. But I do like the idea of doing stuff with fans and all that sort of thing in terms of like streaming. But we'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, if you want to be more interactive with streams, check over to Twitch as soon as this live stream ends. We're going to be playing FIFA 23 and probably raging at that. So yeah, stay tuned, and hopefully I will see you all over there. Thank you for watching.